Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. When I moved to Orlando, I started thinking about ways to continue my zero to low waste journey. And something that has always bothered me is that when living in an apartment, there's not a way that I could compost, because I grew up in a place where we had land where my mom lived, and so she had a compost pile. And then I had also friends who had an actual compost bin that you could put the items in, and it would allow you to easily turn your compost. But in a city, in an apartment where you don't have access to those things, for myself, I just thought that was not even possible. But I decided to look into it to see if it is. Spoiler alert, it is possible. And in this video, I'd like to take you along on the trip to show you what it actually is like to try to compost when you're living in an apartment, and also give you the different options to look for that could be available where you are. I'm in Orlando, and so if you're also in Orlando, these could help you here. Also, if you are not in Orlando, these types of resources and kind of what to search for, I'll also share that in this video, so you'll be able to use some of these details as well. My name's KT, and this is Simple Living with KT, the place where we talk about the issues facing our lives in a simple and mindful way. Composting can be a great thing for many different reasons. If you have a yard and you're gardening yourself, it's a great way to have just a really nutrient-dense topsoil for your own personal garden. You'll notice a difference when you are planting fruits and vegetables yourself. But when it comes also to just waste management in general, you'll be able to lower the amount of waste that you're creating, because instead of these items that have a bunch of nutrients like banana peels and apple cores and the little tops of strawberries, instead of those going into a landfill, they could be going back into the earth. And if you're thinking, well, items in the landfill do get processed and eventually will go back to the earth, that is true to a degree, because I don't know if you've heard any of the stories about us sending our trash to other countries, and just think about the amount of processing effort that goes into having to perhaps open a plastic trash bag, sort through to get the nutrient-rich items, and then remove the items that cannot be recycled, like most of the plastic. And so that is why I was looking for an alternative, because I just feel like us throwing that away is kind of a wasted opportunity to do something so simple that is also so beneficial. But of course, it's not the easiest to do in an apartment. I had to look and see what was available. First, I just went to Google to see composting in Orlando. And the first thing that came up was actually paid programs where you can either choose to have your compost picked up every week or perhaps every other week. They give you a bin. They give you a new bin every week that has been cleaned and sterilized, and they'll actually pick it up right from your door every single week or every other week. It is a paid service, and so if you get it more frequently removed from your home, your apartment, then it's going to cost you more. On the other hand, I was also looking for a completely free version. I was watching a video by Levi Hildebrand, who I greatly recommend if you are looking for information about becoming zero waste and being a more conscious consumer. But he mentioned in his video that composting is super simple for him, because his apartment building actually has a compost bin right next to the trash and stuff. And so that is something I certainly wish that I had access to, but I do not. But it made me think, does the city support any type of composting? And I was happy to find out that they do. In my area in Orlando, there are specifically 2 places where I could, drop off compost that can be, used and they say turned into fuel or just processed and done something, eco-friendly with. The first option is that they have a recycle bin at a farmer's market. I'm going to post the time and information on the screen so that you can see it. But that is a really cool option, but that is only available one time a week. The second option, which is what my husband and I are going to do actually today, and it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's at the actual waste management facility in Orlando. They have a compost bin where you can go at any time and drop off your compost. This place is not down the street from me. We live not exactly in the middle of Orlando. We kind of live to the side in the east, and this place is kind of on the other side, on the west. And so we have to take a little bit of a drive to get there. It has been 3 weeks that we have been accumulating some items. And I know for some people you're going to say, how the heck are you holding so much rotten fruit and vegetables in your home? And we decided to hold our compost in a bin that has a lid on it, but that also fits in the freezer or the refrigerator. But I chose the freezer because things don't really progress and get moldy in the freezer, do they? Each time I would cook, some onions, I would save the tops and the parts that I was not using in a little container, and I would just take the compost bin from the freezer, put my new items in, and call it a day. That was honestly the easiest for, me and my husband. My husband didn't really put anything in there, and I saw him put some banana peels in the trash, but we're not striving for perfection, we're striving for progress. And I will show some photos / videos of some of the items that we have collected during this time, and it's a good variety of items. For example, I always get 2 pineapples when we go to the grocery store, and we were able to, actually save those rinds. And I also found out a really cool recipe, kind of like a pineapple citrus lemonade that I can make with the pineapple rinds as well. And so it's just really being able to use what you have in a, just really beneficial way. And I was just looking for something to do with these pineapple rinds that were, I don't know. I just felt like there was still some sweetness in those rinds, but you can never quite peel it, perfectly on the side because it's a freaking pineapple. After I made lemonade, it was just really nice to be able to put those peels, that rind, into the compost. It really felt like I was able to stretch that pineapple as far as I could. And I will say that is something I will do with pineapple rinds in the future, because it was a really, really good lemonade that came out of it that wasn't too sweet. I think a great alternative to juice if you're trying to just watch how much sugar you are intaking. So let me know in the comments below, have you thought about starting composting yourself? Did you think you were limited because you're living in a city? Have you checked to see what kind of options are available to you? I will say I am 90% sure that the composting services that you pay for were not available where I was living before. I understand kind of why that would be, because it's not quite as developed of a city, even though the population's larger, if that makes sense. But Orlando has a really diverse population, and I also believe a population that strives around farmers markets and people who are looking for these types of solutions. So I'm happy to be here and able to experience that myself. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe so that you see other videos from me. I post every week on this channel on topics ranging from personal finance to living a mindful and simple life, because after the year we've had, I think we deserve it. And I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.